Hello, Miss Diane from the Ridgefield Library. I'm following up with some of you about a make, take, and gift program we had at the library. If you were fortunate enough to come and pick up supplies to make a craft, I hope you've made your little snowman, who really looks like a s'more because he's made out of fake marshmallows. He was a little bit tricky to make, wasn't he? If you made your craft, or if you haven't made your craft, the only pointers I have for you are to, if you use a very tacky glue, this is actually called tacky glue, a sticky glue that isn't too runny, or this is a new Elmer's kind of glue that's a gel and it's very slow to pour. These glues will not be drippy and your snowman will not be as slippery when you put them together. But it's okay because I used good old-fashioned white glue when I made mine. He was a little slippery, but I put the parts together carefully. I let him dry overnight and he's just fine. The only parts that were kind of tricky are the runners on the sled. I used some of those little sticky glue spots, and then I covered it up with the next day with some extra glue. So they're really doing really well. When you put the scarf on your snowman, it's very stiff and it'll stick up in the air. So what I did, I glued it and I held it down with a paper clip, which I stick in here. And it will keep it until it dries. But you know what I just found out? Took the paper clip off, it's still sticking up a little bit, so I'm going to have to add a little more glue. But that's fine. He'll be just fine. He'll be okay. So I'd like to read some snowman stories, 2 stories for you. Even if you didn't do the craft, you'll like the stories. It isn't quite snowman time yet. It's cold enough for snow. We haven't had enough snow to actually make a good snowman. But in using your imagination, after you make a snowman this winter, think about what it would be like if your snowman could stay around all year. That means he wouldn't melt. He could hang out and do things you like to do. Well, there's a series of books by Carolyn Bruner, and her husband illustrates. And this one's called Snowmen All Year. And if you look at the picture, you can see it doesn't look like a snowy day, but there he is. He's not melted and having a good time. Snowmen all year. Look, he's stopping to smell the flowers, the tulips. It must be spring, right? And here's another picture on the inside. I think he's hanging out in the pool. Well, I love to build a snowman on freezing winter days, but when the sun is bright and warm, my snowman melts away. There's nothing but a puddle when my snowman disappears. If only he were magic and could stay with me all year. And he would have to be magic, right? I'd teach him how to fly a kite high above the trees. That's springtime. Then we would dig for pirate gold or sail the 7 seas. Snowman pirate. I know that he would love to see the tigers at the zoo. Mm-hmm. And at my birthday party, we would celebrate his too. So he would only be 1 year old. Well, he wouldn't even be 1 until next winter, right? But in the picture, he's celebrating his first birthday. So this must be probably next December or January, right? And we'd go all on the wildest rides at the amusement park. But best of all would be the fireworks lighting up the dark on the 4th of July, right? He has a big smile. And on stormy evenings, I would play my favorite games with him. On sunny days, I'd teach him how to dive and how to swim. Of course, he wouldn't dissolve when he hits the water, would he? On summer evenings in the dark, we'd chase some fireflies. Or sleep out in the quiet woods beneath the starry skies. At the beach would play all day. He'd get very sandy. We'd trick or treat on Halloween and bring home lots of, what rhymes? Candy, right? Candy. People will think he's in a costume, won't they? He's the only one not wearing a costume. Maybe this is magic snow that will not disappear, and this snowman will be the one to stay with me all year. So to have a magic snowman, you have to start with magic snow. Wouldn't that be fun? Hey, a new friend all year round. That would be a great time. Wasn't that a great imaginative story? If you did the craft inside the little envelope I gave you, there were some other book suggestions, and one of them is, what if Picasso, the artist, what if he painted a snowman? What would it look like? Now, in this book, there are some very famous artists. Some of them you probably heard of, some of them you may not have. But all artists are very creative, very imaginative people. Some artists do paint things that are kind of realistic, but they still have to use their imagination. And today I have a challenge for you. I would like you to draw or paint or use crayons or pastels and make a snowman in a different style. Maybe like one of the artists, maybe just your own style. So this one is an example. If Picasso painted a snowman, you know, Picasso, he was very abstract in his artwork. And that snowman's head looks just like one Picasso would paint. This is a book by Amy and Greg Newbold, the artist and the illustrator. I'll show you just a few. We may not do them all, but we'll see Picasso for sure. Get your tools ready. Remember, I'm giving you a challenge. If Picasso painted a snowman, what if that little guy, he looks like a hamster, what if his name's Picasso? I don't know. If someone asked you to paint a snowman, you would probably start with 3 white circles stacked upon another, right? That's usually what we do. And then you would add black dots for eyes and an orange triangle for a nose and a black dotted smile. But if Pablo Picasso painted a snowman, it would not look like that. It would look like this. Woo! The eyes are not, first of all, they're not black. They're not made out of coal, and they're not even, and everything's kind of mixed up. And not all artists paint the same, you know. This is Picasso's style. This is his style. This is another artist's style. His name is J.M. Turner. Can you find the snowman in J.M.W. Turner's style here? This is called a blizzard, and it looks like a blizzard. Do you see a snowman? Do you see a little shadow of a snowman? Maybe that's how he would paint it. Maybe you would like to try that style. All right, let's try another one. Or maybe Roy Lichtenstein's Snow Hero Saves the Day. Bam! Because Roy Lichtenstein, he paints pictures. I'm not sure if they're painted or drawn, but he makes them, they're kind of like comics, aren't they? There's another artist named Georgia O'Keeffe, and she paints things from the desert. Maybe Georgia O'Keeffe's snowman wouldn't bloom long in the desert, because here's a snowman, but he actually has a skeleton found in the desert, and a beautiful desert flower. But I don't think a snowman would last long in the desert. Or there's another Gustav Klimt. He does patchwork looking art, and it's very, very pretty. And maybe you would like to try that. It looks like the snowmen are wearing quilts to keep them warm. Very, very cool. And Claude Monet, you know Monet? He painted haystacks. Well, look at this picture in his style. You see snowmen near the haystacks? That's one of his paintings. But somebody added snowmen all around, all around. And a dust-colored snowman watches Pablita Velarde's ornamental birds. That's a Southwestern theme, isn't it? That's a very interesting snowman. And you heard of Jackson Pollock? He does wild and crazy. He splish splashes around. Splish, splash, splat. This is his snowman. Now, you tell me if you can see the snowman because I don't see him. But in Jackson Pollock's artwork, it's hard to see images of things because he's very abstract and creative. Salvador Dali, he does really kind of weird kinds of things. Look at this snowman. It looks like they're made out of rubber and they're all bendable. That's Salvador Dali. Rickety Rack, a stick snowman. This is Paul Klee's. He made one out of wire. One out of wire. And this is Marc Chagall's snowman in a bright circus ring. So some of these artists you might be learning about in school. And George Seurat, he does, it's called pointillism. He does little dots. And that whole picture was made with little dots. Some are darker to show shadows and some are lighter. Isn't that cool? And the snowman has an umbrella. Pierre Montrien's snowman is square. I'm not sure where. Oh, is this his hat? That must be his carrot. It looks like a stained glass window, right? And maybe I'll just pick one more artist for you. Vincent van Gogh. Everybody knows him, right? Vincent van Gogh. That looks like the Starry Night. You might know that one, right? Vincent van Gogh's snowman swirls and curls in the wavy hills. And this is a picture. They're typically farmers. Grant Woods is the artist, and they call it Gothic. Snowman Gothic will never melt away. That's supposed to, what used to be, the real picture is a farmer and his wife, but that's a snowman and his wife. But what would your snowman look like? There's a blank page. I would like to see a snowman that you draw in a different style. So if you make your own snowman, and it doesn't have to be in the style of any of the artists in this book, but it could be your style, why don't you have someone take a picture of it and send it to us so we can see it at the library and we can put it on our website? That would be really cool. So if we get your picture, we'll put it up for everyone to see. So you have to make it so we can post it, right? So that was lots of fun. I love to think about snowmen. Some years are really disappointing. There's not too much snow. We'll keep our fingers crossed, right? That this winter, especially since we're spending so much time at home, this winter will be a good snowy winter and we can make lots of snowmen. But in the meantime, hopefully you enjoyed making this snowman, which is not going to melt, and he's going to be around all year. And maybe you don't have to just leave him out during the winter time. Maybe he could hang out with you in the summertime, or maybe, I don't know, I bet he'd float in your pool. I don't know. But he was supposed to be, if you made him with the library crafts, maybe you gave him as a gift, so you don't know what he'll be doing this summer. Well, friends, this was lots of fun. I love to think about snow. I love to think about snowmen. Have a happy winter and share your pictures with us, please. Farewell.